Hello, I'm Sebastian. Welcome to 9 Trees podcast. Today, I will summarize and review the book. Discipline Equals Freedom, Field Manual, M1, Mod 1 by Jocko Willink is a compact, military-inspired guide to building a life run by deliberate action rather than moods, excuses, or comfort. Designed as a field manual, it focuses on practical execution, training your body, sharpening your mind, and structuring your days so progress becomes inevitable. Willink draws on widely known principles from leadership, combat readiness, and performance psychology, translating them into routines and standards that can be applied by anyone, from students to executives to athletes. The core argument is straightforward. Discipline is not punishment. It is the path to choices, competence, and control over your own outcomes. Instead of promising quick hacks, the book emphasizes consistency, personal responsibility, and the willingness to do what is required even when motivation fades. The result is an actionable framework for people who want fewer intentions and more results, with an uncompromising tone that pushes readers toward measurable change. I will give you key takeaways from this book. Firstly, discipline as the source of real freedom. A central theme of the field manual is the reframing of discipline from restriction to liberation. Willink presents discipline as the mechanism that expands your options over time. The person who trains can move, compete, and endure. The person who studies can qualify, earn, and choose. The person who manages money can take risks and seize opportunities. The book argues that freedom is rarely granted by circumstance and is more often built through repeated, sometimes boring decisions that compound. In this view, self-control is not about denying yourself life, but about preventing short-term impulses from stealing long-term outcomes. The manual style reinforces this idea by making discipline feel like a daily practice, not a vague aspiration. Readers are pushed to confront how rationalizations, comfort-seeking, and waiting for motivation create dependence on external conditions. Instead, the book encourages creating internal standards and obeying them, especially when it is inconvenient. That consistency becomes a form of personal sovereignty. You decide, you act, you improve. Over time, the payoff is competence, confidence, and the ability to choose harder paths because you have prepared yourself to walk them. Secondly, physical training as a foundation for mental strength. The manual places physical fitness at the center of personal performance, not merely for aesthetics, but as a platform for resilience and self-respect. Willink connects training with the ability to handle stress, maintain energy, and stay reliable under pressure. The approach is practical and no nonsense. Show up, do the work, and prioritize consistency over perfect plans. Physical discipline becomes a daily proof that you can keep promises to yourself, which then carries into work, relationships, and leadership. The book highlights how training builds tolerance for discomfort, a critical skill in any area where progress requires effort and patience. It also emphasizes that the body is a tool for life and service, and neglecting it has consequences that limit what you can do for others and for your own goals. The field manual framing encourages readers to treat fitness like readiness, something maintained through routine rather than pursued only when convenient. By focusing on fundamentals such as strength, conditioning, and recovery habits, the message becomes accessible to beginners while still challenging experienced athletes. The broader takeaway is that physical training is a controllable arena where discipline can be practiced daily, strengthening the mindset needed to win in less controllable arenas. Thirdly, routines, time management, and winning the morning. Another major topic is the intentional design of daily routines, especially how the first hours of the day set the tone for everything that follows. The book advocates starting early, planning with clarity, and using structure to eliminate decision fatigue. Rather than relying on willpower in every moment, routines create default behaviors that keep you moving even when motivation is low. Willink stresses the importance of prioritization, identifying what matters most, scheduling it, and protecting that time from distractions. The field manual approach treats the day like a mission where preparation reduces friction and increases execution speed. Readers are encouraged to adopt simple but firm practices such as preparing the night before, setting standards for sleep, and committing to training or focused work before the world demands attention. The underlying concept is that discipline is most effective when it is built into systems. A consistent routine makes progress measurable and reduces the opportunity for excuses. It also builds trust in yourself because you repeatedly demonstrate follow-through. Over time, these habits create momentum, and momentum reduces the mental cost of hard work. The message is not to become rigid for its own sake, but to use structure as an ally so your goals are supported by your calendar, not undermined by your impulses. Fourthly, ownership, accountability, and the end of excuses. The manual repeatedly returns to personal ownership as the non-negotiable starting point for change. Willink is known publicly for promoting extreme ownership, and in this book, the idea is translated into everyday behavior. If you want a different outcome, you must accept responsibility for your inputs. That does not mean ignoring real constraints or pretending life is fair. It means refusing to outsource your agency. The book challenges readers to identify the stories they tell themselves that justify an action, such as lack of time, lack of talent, or waiting for the right moment. It then redirects attention to what can be controlled right now: effort, attitude, preparation, and consistency. Accountability is treated as a tool for improvement rather than self-punishment. By honestly assessing failures and setbacks, you can adjust tactics and return to the plan without drama. This topic also ties into leadership, even at the individual level, because self-leadership is presented as the prerequisite for leading others. If you cannot command yourself, you cannot be dependable in a team or family. The book encourages confronting weaknesses directly, building standards, and enforcing them with action. The payoff is a life with fewer regrets, because you stop negotiating with excuses and start producing results that are earned. Lastly, mindset under pressure and long-term consistency. Beyond tactics, the field manual emphasizes a durable mindset, calm, aggressive execution paired with patience for long timelines. Willink frames improvement as a process that is often uncomfortable and rarely glamorous, requiring the ability to endure monotony and frustration. The book reinforces that discipline is not a temporary sprint, but a lifestyle that must survive stress, boredom, and setbacks. That is where mental toughness becomes practical. You continue when progress feels slow, when you are tired, and when external validation is absent. The manual style supports this by focusing on principles that can be revisited, rather than a single linear program. Readers are encouraged to treat failure as information, not identity, and to reset quickly. Consistency is portrayed as the ultimate advantage because it multiplies small actions into significant change. This topic also addresses the conflict between comfort and growth. The book pushes the reader to choose the harder right over the easier wrong, repeatedly, until it becomes normal. The goal is not constant intensity for its own sake, but dependable execution that can be sustained over months and years. In that sense, mindset is the operating system that keeps routines running, standards enforced, and goals reachable even when life becomes chaotic. In conclusion, this book is best suited for readers who respond well to direct coaching and want an actionable framework rather than inspirational talk. It will benefit athletes seeking consistency, professionals who want sharper focus and better time use, students building study habits, and anyone who feels trapped in cycles of procrastination and excuse-making. The value comes from its clear philosophy: discipline is a skill you practice daily, and practicing it creates real freedom in health, career options, confidence, and personal reliability. By emphasizing ownership and routines, it helps readers move from intention to execution, reducing dependence on fluctuating motivation. Compared to similar self-improvement books that rely on elaborate theories or gentle encouragement, this field manual stands out for its mission-oriented simplicity and its insistence on standards. It does not try to entertain you into change, it challenges you to earn change through repeatable actions. The format also makes it easy to revisit as a reference when your habits slip. If you want a pragmatic, high-pressure reminder to do the work, keep promises to yourself, and build a life with more capability and fewer regrets, this book is worth buying and using as a daily reset tool. If you would like to support Jocko Willink, you can buy the book through the Amazon link I've provided in the podcast description. After reading the book, please let me know what you think and share your thoughts. See you around.